Okay, so let's go ahead and get into modeling. So I brought the picture in from the job bag, as you can see. I'm going to put it on my blue layer and just lock it down. That way I can't select it. No matter what I do, I can't. And you can do that by selecting the little lock feature. The next thing we're going to do is input a ring rail. So as I said, we can do a cathedral ring rail for the first one. So I will select the cathedral ring rail command, and you'll see I have a bunch of options here. So the first thing I'm going to do is use the viewport handles to make sure I am aligned properly, if you will. Let's go to the front view, and we can use this gumball feature to pull it into place. So if I hide this blue real quick, you'll see I have a ball right here. So this ball will change the point on the ring rail at which the cathedral will bend. So I can pull it further up and adjust it a bit. And that looks pretty close. Maybe kick it out here. Make sure my bridge toggle is on right here. When it's not on, there's no bridge, but when it is, you can see it creates this bridge. And then I'll right click. So I'm right clicking just to put my stone on my ring rail. So whenever I go under gems and select gem on ring rail, you'll see it puts a gem on that bridge. So let's pull it to the apex and let's choose a 5.8. So if I hide this, you'll see the size. Let's bring it back and we'll pull it into location. Okay, so I can right click. So from the pictures, you can see it is a 4-prong, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So the way I'm going to accomplish that is edit my cathedral ring rail and then pull the cathedral out. So I can angle out of the stone a bit. Let's make sure the stone is going to be settable. So that looks pretty good. So to accept the command, being I'm editing it, I can right click. So now you can see I have a stone that's related to my cathedral ring rail, and I have one side of prongs. So just to give you the fundamental ideas behind parametric design, this gem is related to this ring rail, and in particular this curve. So if I come here, edit the ring rail, and then reduce the finger size to so currently it's a 7. If I go down to a 3, you'll see it'll automatically adjust with the ring rail. Okay, so to get back to modeling, we are going to relate this prong that's going to be created to this stone. So to do that, I'm going to bring up my gem guides. So it's asking me down here to select a gem. I select the gem and right click. So we're going to do a little bit of adjusting. I'm going to turn these horizontals, which are this way and this way, off, because all I really need is the verticals. I'm going to pull them up a tad and then reduce the girdle spacing, which will inevitably give me my nudge. So I can right click, and I'm going to be mirroring everything, so I only need one. So let's select one set, go to tools, and select dynamic join. So now I can hide the other ones. So I'm going to right click the color and hide. Okay, so now I have one gem guide that I will go ahead and use. So the next thing we need to do is create a sweep. So I need some profiles. So I'm going to select the inside ring rail and select profile place. And here I can drag the profile along the curve and it will stay relative to that curve. So I need to, you can see right here, it's larger than our outside curve. So I need to relate the outside to the profile. So I can select the box of the outside curve, and down here it's asking to select the curve. So I can select my outside curve, and now you will see no matter where I pull this, it'll stay relative to those two curves. So I'm going to change the shape of the profile. So to do that, I can either select this profile viewport control, or I can select this box. If I select the box, it'll populate this, and I can select the square profile. Okay, so there's a few ways we can add additional ones. My very top prong will be up here, right? But I need to add one at this intersection. So if I left click, it'll add one. And I need one down about here. So let's go ahead and change this one and start to make it into a prong. So I'm going to taper it a bit. Let's select this one by selecting the little ball and change it to a round circle as well. And then we can adjust a little bit more. Okay, so now I have profiles. So while I'm on the profile place, if you want to mirror the profiles, you can toggle the mirror profile. But in this case, we don't necessarily need it, so I'll do that and turn it off. We also have what's called Activate Auto Sweep. Whenever you toggle this on, it will automatically sweep what profiles you have put out. So you can see it makes a pretty nice curve. So I'm going to right click and accept that. So now I need to profile place this gem guide. So what that'll do, this gem guide is related to that center stone. So no matter what happens to that center stone, this gem guide will stay with it. So being the profile is going to be on the gem guide, the profile will inevitably stay with the stone as well. So I will go ahead and profile place and get the round profile. And let's adjust this and let's pull it down just a tad. I can right click. So let's go ahead and sweep this prong. All right, so let's right click. So now I have essentially half of a ring down here and a quarter of a ring right here. So what I want to do is create just one whole half. So I'm going to select this prong. Because it's in the middle right here, I can just select mirror under the transform and untoggle the Y and toggle the X. So that way it mirrors over the X. And I can right click, and now I have essentially a half of a ring. So the next thing we need to do, let's bring back this, is add this second stone. So we can rerun this gem on ring rail on this bridge one more time. So I can go under the gems tab and select gem on ring rail. So this will add another stone. I just want to pull it over here, reduce the size, pull it into its location. Let's toggle this back on. And then we can adjust the tilt angle. And that looks pretty good. So I'm going to right click. So now I essentially have two stones that this one right here on the right, I will be mirroring once we are complete. But first we need to get the prongs. So to get those prongs, we're going to do pretty much the same way we got these with the gem guides. So I can select my gem, select gem guides, and you'll see it gives me something similar. So I'm going to turn the horizontal off and pick these up as well. I can reduce the length, and I will give it a bit of nudge as well. Also, if you want to sweep different styles, you can select the different shapes up here. So actually, I'm just going to put one on this corner, and then I will rerun gem guides and put one on the front right here. So let's go ahead, join these gem guides. By Tools, select Dynamic Join and right click. Let's select the gem guides we don't use and we can hide them. And then I'll rerun the gem guide command and make it to where there is one on the front. So let's turn all of this off like we had it and right click. So again, I only need this front one. So I'm going to go to Tools and join that one as well and right click. So I can go ahead and delete these, or hide them rather. So now I have essentially two curves to where I'm going to sweep my prongs. So we need to get a curve down here, that way it'll blend up. So I can do that by extracting an iso curve. I can select my surface, make sure it's in the middle by 0.5, right click, and now let's grab one down here. Put it at 0 and right click. So now I have a curve down here and a curve up here. Okay, so you can see I'm about to do a 2-rail sweep, but I only have one curve up here, right? So I need to offset this curve. So if I select Offset Dynamic command, you can see it'll offset it wherever I drag it with this gumball. This is a new feature, so I can offset it any which way. So let's rerun that. So I can either denote how far. If I wanted 0.8, I can do that. But let's go there and right click. And then I need to do the same for this one. Except I need to go to the back side and pull it this way. I like doing a 2-rail sweep because it gives you much more control over the object than a typical 1-rail sweep. Okay, so that's good. So let's right click. So now I have essentially two curves where my prongs are going to be. So now I need to blend up to these. So I'm going to select the blend curve, select my outside, and then what's going to be the outside. And you'll see I have something like this. What I'll do is pull it about halfway, and I can pull the viewport handles to adjust how I want the curvature, right? This is the dynamic command for blend. If I want to join the curves automatically, I can toggle this on, and you can see it'll get rid of majority of the excess. And that looks pretty good. So I can right click. So what happens when you, what happens when you join is you get rid of that iso curve, right? Because it joined all the curves down here. So we need to show it once more, right? So I can come here and show, and now I have it back. So I can rerun the blend curve with that one and then this one, pull it up, and use the viewport handles to adjust how we want the curvature. That looks pretty good, so I'm going to right click. So now it's just to do the same with this curve. So let's go ahead, blend curve, and select this one. Choose the viewport handles. Oops. To adjust the curvature how we want. Toggle join. That looks decent. Let's pull it down just a bit more and we'll increase some height just to give it some thickness right here. So I can right click. Now we need to do the same for this one. So the same process, we come down here and show the ISO curve, select blend curve, and then select the outside prong. So let's pull the viewport handles where we would like them. And I can right click. Let's make sure everything is good. Right, so now I can profile place. I'll select the inside curve, go to tools. I'll select profile place, and that's where I need it. Okay, so the same thing applies. I need to relate it to the outside curve. So let's select the outside curve we need, and then we can adjust. Okay, and I need to put a profile further down here, so I can hold shift and left click. And we can increase the width just a bit. And right click. So I can either sweep or I can add one here. We're going to use the same profile for both prongs. So I can select profile place on the inside curve, use the viewport handles to pull it up. Again, relate it to the outside curve. And then adjust the width. There we go. Okay, so now it's just a quick sweep. Select the two rail sweep, select the two rails, and then the two profiles. And now we can do this one before we adjust, just to make sure. So you see this one is flipping. We can go ahead, edit, and just flip it over. Right click. So let's see if that works. And there we go. Okay, so I have the two prongs. I'm not really liking the look of this one. So there's a few things we can do. So we can either adjust the blend curve, which is probably this one. Make it look a little more prong-like. And right click. Then we can select this one, bring it up, and right click. So I need a little more nudge right here. So that's simple enough. I can find my gem guide, which should be this one. Give it a little more spacing. And right click. Okay, so I have all the sweeps. Now I just need to mirror the ones that need to be mirrored. So I'm going to select this one and mirror under transform, mirror. Do not need it over the y-axis. I need it over the x, so I can toggle that and then toggle the x. Right click, so now I have all my sweeps that I need, so I can select these. And my shank, make sure everything is selected and mirror over to the other side. right click to accept. Okay, so we need to do the bridge real quick. So you can select the bridge. We need to sweep 2 profiles. So I can either use these profiles to do that, but I want to make it open up. So I can select the bridge, go to Tools, and Profile Place. Let's pull it to 0.5, reduce the size with the viewport handles. And then I can pull it out a bit. So a right click will accept that. So now let's do a 1 rail sweep with the bridge. Sorry, I need to mirror this profile over. It's a quick mirror and right click. So now I should have 1 there and 1 there. So now let's sweep 1, select my bridge, select the right profile, the center, and then the left, and right click. So I can take this and mirror that over to the other side. Transform, mirror. So again, I need to go over the x-axis. So toggle that and right click. And that is pretty much the ring. You can see I need to put this little sweep. So we can do the same thing pretty much. We can extract an isocurve, select the surface we would like, and this way we can angle it a bit and then move the location. So I'm moving it so it will kind of bow out and go this way instead of going straight up. So I can right click, let's select that isocurve and then mirror to the other side. Good thing is I only need to do this once. Where's he at? Oop. Need to toggle the Y. So I have 1 here and 1 there. So the same thing, I'm going to blend these curves, select this one and select that one. Use the viewport handles, make sure they are equal. And then we can adjust the blend amount, which will cause the center to open up. Then I can even pull these down a bit more and increase it to give it more curvature. So I can right click and I'm just going to pipe this, right? So I can select that. I'm going to offset it. That way it's in the prongs a bit. Let's pull it into location, right click. So now we can pipe it. So I can go to solid, select my dynamic pipe, and we can increase the diameter. So I can right click. So you see it's coming through a bit right here. That's pretty simple to fix. You just come here, select the offset. Without changing the look too much. And right click when you're done. Okay, the main power behind MatrixGold is the dynamic history, like I said. So I can actually come down here. Let's say the customer wants a different shape center stone. So I can select this. Let's go to a princess. We can even increase the size, decrease the size. If they want it taller, or if they want it shorter. We can choose pretty much any square stone and even some rectangle stones. So I'm just going to select this antique cushion. So you see it's a little close to these, so I can still edit the outside. This one, and I can move the location. So I can increase the size of these, increase the height, location. Like I said, you can adjust. So this is the real power of dynamic history. I can even adjust the finger size within a certain amount. The smaller this gets, the closer these will get together. So you can come here. Let's change it to 6. And that's that.